guys, I'm Kiki Pepper and welcome back to Storytime Sunday, where every Sunday I tell a crazy story about my life. Today's story I am so scared of. It still gives me chills up and down my spine just thinking about it. So the story starts off when I was 12 years old. I lived in this crazy neighborhood with a whole bunch of girls who I would consider my best friends. One of the girls, they decided to go to the mall. Now the mall was about 10 blocks away from where we lived at, and I was like, okay, you're going to the mall, I'm gonna go with you. But I had a bedtime. I had to be back in my house at a certain time and I didn't want to get in trouble. So we went to the mall and we ended up spending way too much time at this mall. We were shopping around for hours and I'm like, oh my god girl, like I'm about to get in trouble. It's getting late, it's really dark outside, we need to run back home. So we left out of the mall and we started walking back home towards our house. As we're walking back towards our house, it's just getting later and later and it's so dark outside. So to be 12 years old, walking around in the pitch black dark with one of your friends, you're starting to draw so much attention to yourself. So as we're walking, people are blowing their horns at us, people are yelling out their windows and stuff, and we're literally like, oh my god, like we're getting too much attention. The neighborhood knows that at this certain house, there's this crazy lady that lives at this house, and every time we walk past this house, morning or nighttime, we always run past this house because she's crazy. We think she's some type of witch. As we approach her house, we start walking really fast, and then we notice that the next street after her house, the street that we needed to turn down was pitch black dark. All of the street lights that was on the street was all broken. So we had to go through the street in order for us to get home. It was so dark, I could hardly see my friend who was literally standing right next to me. So as we're slowly walking down the street, I hear footsteps coming towards us. I look to my friend and I wanted to tell her, do you hear this? Before I can even get the words out, all of a sudden the footsteps get closer and closer to us. And all of a sudden 2 men appear on both sides of us. And it was at that moment that I realized, oh my god, we have really messed up. Something is about to happen to us. One of the guys, he grabs my friend on the back of her neck and asks her what's her name and how old she is. I look, I grabbed the keys that was inside of my pocket and grabbed onto them really, really hard because I knew something was about to happen, and if they grabbed my friend, I was about to be next. So my friend, she starts stuttering. She's like, I'm 18 years old. And I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, why would you lie and say that you're 18 years old? We were only 12. Why would she lie about her age? When she said that she was 18 years old, I volunteered and said, y'all, I'm 12 years old. I don't know what you want, but I'm only 12 years old. I just want to go home. All of a sudden, one of the guys, he said, ooh, look, fresh meat. As soon as he said fresh meat, y'all, my heart started pounding so fast. I felt like they were about to take me. They were about to get me at that moment. For some reason, they didn't want my friend once she said she was 18, but they definitely wanted me. It was something about me telling them that I was 12 years old that they really, really wanted. So I wanted to run away, but I could not run and leave my friend behind. So I slowly grabbed my friend by her hand. As I'm grabbing her hand, you guys, I yank her towards me and we just start running down the street, pitch black dark. I didn't know where we were running to. All I knew is we were getting away from these guys. We running down the street and all I hear behind is his footsteps, pow, 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 coming up behind us. It was something about me telling them how old I was that they were not going to give up. We ran through this entire neighborhood in a pitch black dark trying to get away from them. We ducked behind this car. I'm praying, I'm telling her like, girl, just don't leave me. If anything happened, we're going to stay by each other's side. So my friend, she reaches over to the passenger side door and she pulls the handle. As soon as she pulls the handle of this car, it opens. So we go inside this car and we sneak inside and go really, really low to the floor. I take off my jacket, I put my jacket up to the window and like try to stuff it upwards so they can cover the windows of the car. So just in case these men were still following us, they would not know where we were at. One of the windows on her side was still open, so you can see outside of it. And there was a light coming from the house that was directly across the street. And all of a sudden we see someone walking outside of their house and walking towards the car that we're in. So I grabbed my coat and I yanked it down and covered both of us over and just left a little opening so that we can still see outside of the coat, so we can see what was going on. So all of a sudden the driver door opens and the person gets inside of the car. They're sitting inside of the driver's seat and they start the car. Now Now remind you, we are still in the back of this person's car, laying down on the floor, trying not to get caught. And they have no idea that we are inside of their car. So we look up and I can see the side of the person's face. So it ended up being this woman, and she seemed like somebody that I knew from the neighborhood, but I wasn't quite sure. So all of a sudden, this lady, she pulls out of the parking spot and she starts driving down the street with us inside of the car. I'm shaking. Tears are literally filling up in my eyes because I feel like, oh my God, like we're about to get caught, or she's about to drive us somewhere where we can't just get out the car and go back home. So we're driving down the street and we get to the first red light. When we get to the first red light, all of a sudden my friend, she just starts bawling out, crying. I'm talking about loud as I don't know it, just crying real tears. And because she started crying, the lady that was in the front seat got really scared and started jerking the wheel around like, oh my God, like what's going on? So we pop our heads up and we tell the lady, we like, oh my God, like we had to hide in your car because two guys, they were chasing us and we didn't know what to do, so we got inside of your car. She pulls over to the side and she tells us, girls, don't worry, where do you live at? Where do I need to take you? I'm sorry that this happened to you. And she literally tells us that we're not going to get in trouble and she's going to take us home. Do you not know how much of a relief that was to find out that she wasn't going to murder us because we were inside of her car and we literally broke in this lady's car? So we pull up to our house, she lets us out, and I just go inside, go home like nothing has ever happened. So the next morning I wake up, I go meet up with my friend again, and we walk over to another one of our friends' house. When we get to our other friend's house, we got the most craziest news. So we start explaining to her this story that happened to us and everything that we had went through. All of a sudden our friend looked at us and said, oh my God, I don't know if y'all heard this, but just last week another girl was walking down the exact same street that you guys are walking on, but this girl had got abducted and no one has heard or seen from this girl ever since she went missing. So in other words, we could have been abducted that night and we had no idea that how much our life was in danger. So you guys, that is all for this story. I want to say, if you are ever walking anywhere, make sure you walk with someone else. Don't go anywhere walking alone because you never know what can happen to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and as always, I love you guys oh so very much. Thank you so much for watching.